Welcome to the Digital Amateur Television Experimenters Night. This is VK7OTC, the club station of the Radio and Electronics Association of Southern Tasmania. Amateur radio is a worldwide hobby that has many different aspects. Digital television is just one of the many modes and areas that are covered. Maybe you're interested in becoming involved in the DATV Experimenters Nights. You realise that you do not have to be a radio amateur or need any ATV equipment to participate anywhere in the world. Also participate in the night by coming up to the Queen's Domain club rooms. Yes, right on top of the Queen's Domain in the heritage-listed Coast Wireless Station. You never know, we might get you in front of the camera or behind doing one of the many roles during the night. We get underway with our program on a Wednesday night from 7:30pm local time. We'll see you soon. This is VK7OTC.
And this is VK7OTC, the club station of the Radio and Electronics Association of Southern Tasmania, with our ATV Experimenters Night. And I have a regular contributor in Rex VK7MO sitting next to me. Good evening, Rex.
Hello, Justin.
Now, Rex has some very interesting show and tell for us tonight, so I'll hand over to Rex.
Okay, thank you, Justin. This is a 432 meg yagi that I have been putting together so I can take it into a suitcase to Hawaii.
And why would you be wanting to do that, Rex?
Well, because I'm hoping to actually also have in that suitcase a 10 gig system to try and work the duct to California. But we wanted a VHF link so that we could
UHF.
UHF 432, so that we knew what was happening with the duct at lower frequencies.
Yep.
Partly just to understand the difference between how a duct works at UHF compared to
10 gigs.
10 gigs.
Yep. Okay.
And also because in general people believe ducts work much better at VHF than 10 gigs. I'm questioning that. But
okay. Testing the theory.
Testing the theory. So I needed a way of breaking an antenna down, and this antenna
shows how good the fit is.
Does break up, and in addition,
you hand me one of those, and I'll try and put this over here so that we can get a close-up view.
A close-up view. Okay. As well as that, to be able to carry this, the elements are all slotted so that they use a little bit of plastic pipe, which is, you can probably see in that magnified version.
We can go. Hang on, I'll just so that we can see what we're looking at here.
And that holds them sufficiently tightly.
So it's this little bit here.
Yes. On the other side is a longer bit which is already glued, because that can stay permanently there to ensure that the element stays exactly in the centre.
So if I move this little one here, we can see that this...
That's right.
So this one's glued in place.
Yes.
And then you just slide that in and voila, you've got it fixed.
Yes.
I love it.
Okay. Now, in addition, I needed a driven element and some way of connecting that. Because I can't solder aluminium, I had to use copper, for which I didn't have the right size copper, but my friendly copper supply provided me with some copper wire, which he got from a transformer.
It's out of an electricity trust transformer.
Okay, so if we look at this in more detail, we can see that the coax goes through a couple of ferrite beads.
Now, hang on.
Toroids.
Let me go back here. And we'll zoom out a bit. There we go.
So there's two ferrite toroids there to stop the common mode currents coming down the outside.
Yep.
And that whole thing needs to clip off so that it went for transport, so it won't be bent.
Yep.
And that meant I needed a little plate that I could bolt it on with, like this.
Like this. Hang on, I'll swap you for that. There we go.
I needed that.
Oh, hang on. Now there's that little wing there. Before we lose that.
Yes. Where did that come off?
We'll find that in a minute. I think
we'll find that. Okay.
So this is just a plate which appears to be epoxied. It appears to be epoxy to this. So this is a little bit of fiberglass plate to the fiberglass rod. Now this is electric fence rod.
That's electric fence rod.
Yep.
And in order to actually stick that, I use what is effectively what dentists use.
Ah, yes. Okay.
And that comes in a little thing like that. Now, if you just press that there, you see it actually produces ultraviolet light, which triggers the glue to set. Now, the advantage of this is you can hold something until you've got exactly where you want, and then you just light the thing, and it locks it all.
Instantaneously?
Now, well,
sort of
I haven't been game to try and move it in the same instant.
That pulls off there?
And that pulls off there, and you can see there's the glue comes, well, they say it's not a glue, but the stuff comes out when you press that, and you just sort of paint that on, and then you trigger the blue lead to lock it into place.
And can I just say, this little bit here, which Rex showed earlier, you will be going to actually get that off without
breaking the fiberglass.
Breaking the fiberglass, I reckon.
Yep.
That is well and truly stuck on there for good.
Yeah.
So, and it's called Bondic.
Yeah.
And it comes in a snazzy little tin plate. I think it is, or metal box. So complete with the instructions. So there you go.
So
and how much are we talking about for this particular?
I think
device?
it was about $22, and I think for that price I got a couple of spare tubes.
Oh, there you go. That's outrageous.
Yeah. Now, I thought, well, one more little thing. With relation to the yagi.
Oh, how we mount it.
We mount it through.
Oh, there you go.
Through that. These are called staff clamps. They actually only come in 10mm size, but this is 12mm, and you can just drill them out.
Yeah.
and they work pretty well.
So what are they? They're cable clamps, are they? Normally?
No, they're designed to hold the hydraulic pipes in big machinery like
Right.
built bulldozers and
Yeah,
cranes
okay.
and stuff like that.
Okay.
They actually come with metal on each side, but you can order them without the metal, and they're only about $3 each for a set.
Okay.
So
That include the nylon nuts or not?
no, the nylon nuts cost the nylon bolts cost 60 cents each, and the wing nuts cost about 90 cents.
Right. Okay.
So the staff clamps are cheap compared to the nylon stuff.
Fantastic.
So why they use the nylon?
I partly light because I'm wanting to transport it. Partly I like to keep as much metal away from the antenna as possible, but I still got metal here.
How do you go with the carbon fibre tube?
Yeah, I did some tests with carbon fibre versus fiberglass, and the way you do this is in a microwave oven, providing you don't have a wife that's watching.
Yeah.
And which I don't, but and you put a little bit of fiberglass and you put a little bit of carbon fibre, and you see which one gets hot.
Right.
Now the carbon fibre definitely gets hot, so
Okay.
it's reacting.
Yep.
Now, the reason there is a gap here is if you sort of compare this to a metal boom. If it was a metal boom, you would have to have boom correction.
Yep.
If the metal was even, say, straight under.
Yep.
But by the time you go that far away, there's no boom correction required.
Okay.
So I've deliberately kept the carbon fibre. I mean, I doubt if carbon fibre has anything like the same effect as metal.
So why the need to use carbon fibre at all?
You could use fiberglass tube,
Yep.
but the carbon fibre is far stiffer, so it keeps your antenna in line.
So it's thicker than the fiberglass, is it?
Oh yeah, that's a piece of tube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
A very close fitting piece of tube, I have to say.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
and if I pull it out quickly,
Yeah.
it
pops.
Use the top.
It pops.
It pops.
Oh,
It's
in fact, it hit the wall.
well, I'll try and do it without.
Yeah.
So could you use that to join together sections of boom for a long yagi?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But you would have to start to strengthen it about more than. I mean, this one works pretty well just with one pivot point. But if you had a fairly long yagi, it will droop.
Yeah.
And so you'd have to have the same way as we've done it on the 1296, where we have multiple supports.
Yeah.
So you'd still have to have multiple supports. But one of the big advantages of the DL6 design is once you get over 10 elements, you can keep adding elements and it doesn't change the feed point impedance.
Right.
So you could have a 10 element one and then just keep plugging these in.
Yeah.
And get more gain.
That's a novel idea, isn't it? Okay.
That's exactly what I'm going to do.
There you go.
I'm going to take my 21 element yagi and I'm just going to keep extending it.
There you go.
If you got 21 elements, is that a 1.5?
On 1296.
A 1.5 metre one?
Yeah.
The longer boom. Right.
But I just want to make it longer to overcome the material.
The hardy
sending through,
borders.
the hardy plank that I'm sending through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the length of the feed line.
Okay. Now,
Where my losses are.
one more little thing I wanted to show people
Kept on tape.
is called capped-on tape. Now,
Love it.
I didn't know anything about capped-on tape until I got my Mark 1 GPS locking board for
The
for
9700.
the 9700, which had been held in place with capped-on tape. And capped-on tape is amazing stuff, designed for the aircraft industry.
Okay.
And it will hold its strength and not melt or anything at 300 degrees C.
Right. That's why they use it to mask PCBs when they put them through wave flow soldering machines.
Probably, yes.
Isn't wave flow 400 or something?
No, well they use Kapton tape for masking, so it must be able to take that.
So we can withstand higher temperatures for a period of time.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Now, you can test how much you've got to pull that.
Oh, yeah, you can't break that, and you can't stretch it either.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you're out portable and you want to tape something together, like, you know, at the moment I had thought I would, for instance, put a bolt through this to stop them twisting.
Yeah.
I could just wrap a little bit of Kapton tape round to stop it moving.
There you go.
Uh,
Now, what's that? Now, I always understood that Kapton tape was pretty expensive stuff.
well, this came from China for $5 something.
And it has. I'll
That's
see.
probably expensive for China.
I'll see whether we can actually
Free postage.
we can show this, because Kapton tape has a very characteristic colour. It's that
It
sort
looks
of
coppery stuff,
copper colour.
but when you actually unwind it,
Yeah.
it's
clear.
it's almost clear.
It's clear with a yellowy tinge.
Yes.
But it really.
So and it's so thin that you can take
Yeah.
a fair bit of it, and it doesn't weigh much per metre.
Well, there you go. I love it.
So we're
So
getting a bulk shipment in for the whole club.
Wow. It is very.
Included in your membership fee.
Here's your free roll of Kapton tape.
We had that really well.
Yeah. Well, there you go. There you go. I love it.
So okay.
That is fantastic, Rex. And it is the size. It's smaller than the size of a suitcase when it all
Yes,
all
absolutely.
comes down. So
And now, what did we do with the little bit? Oh, there
there it is.
Okay.
Do we know which element it is?
I suspect he goes in here, and he.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
All right.
That is fantastic, Rex. And another thing to mark off the list for Hawaii.
Yes. Okay.
So that is fantastic.
All right. I'll take all this and I'll
That's
come
all right.
back.
Thank you very much. So that is remarkable, absolutely remarkable. So if you're thinking about portable VHF, UHF microwave, there's some fantastic ideas, and actually even SOTA. Come to think about it, even SOTA, you could pack all that up into a rucksack and actually put it all together on the top of the mountain, and there you go. So absolutely outrageous. So what I just wanted to show you, and also I've got a bit of a website here that gives us a little bit more information, is and a few people probably know about this. Let me just go to right. Let's go there. That's a bit better. Thank you, Rex. I was just saying it's not a bad idea for SOTA as well, if because you could pack that all up into a rucksack quite neatly and take it up the top of the
Suddenly you got a
mountain
432 meg fairly high going yagi.
with a high gain, well and truly.
And,
So
and the whole thing weighs 320 grams.
I love it. So a third of a kilogram.
Yes.
That's even better.
The mounting actually weighs a fair bit.
But you probably wouldn't take the mounting with you. It'd be a handheld operation sort
Possibly.
of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, that's great. That's
Okay.
fantastic. Mr. Elon Musk has a scheme that he's working on called SpaceX. Well, his company SpaceX and the scheme that he's working on is the Starlink satellite system. Now this is Starlink's is being deployed by SpaceX, and its objective is to provide some low-cost internet to remote locations. And the way that he's actually doing that is to eventually, it says here, eventually hopes to deploy 1,200 satellites. Sorry, 12,000 satellites. They have actually already deployed about 4,000 of them into the so-called mega constellation, and these are low Earth orbiting satellites. And the size and the scale, it says here, of the project have flustered some astronomers and amateur star watchers who fear that the bright orbiting objects will interfere with the observations of the universe. Now, tonight we'll actually head outside at about 8:49 because there is a just let me go to here. There is a wonderful website called James Darpinian, and this is the website on the phone, and this particular website is all about the satellites that you can see in the sky at your location, and it takes your location from where your phone is. Actually, I probably should do a bit of a update here because see a satellite tonight. No telescopes beside, oh, hang on, that's not right. Let me go backwards a step here, and I just will let it actually work out where we are, and I'll press OK this time. So it's going to goes off and magically finds that we're on the Queen's Domain. It puts you on the globe, which is you can see here you, and up here it's giving you the satellites that you can see at 8:42 p.m, 10:19 p.m, etc, etc. And at 8:42 there is 43 plus satellites that you can see. Now 43 is just to be able to see 43 satellites would just be usually off the show. However, there is a recently deployed Starlink series of satellites, and you can see them, it's repeating past here, and there are 43 of them that will go past in a big long line at about 8:49 off to the the sort of southwest for us. So we're hoping at 8:49 that there aren't any clouds down in the southwest, and we can actually see these satellites. Now, in the screen below, this is actually a picture of the Queen's Domain, and you'll notice that every so often there is it actually shows in the sky where you would expect to see these satellites. Here we go. There goes the ISS. The ISS goes past just before these 43 satellites, and then the 43 satellites goes past in the southwest direction. So we'll head out at about 8:49 and just before 8:49 and see whether we can see these go past. And it's literally like you see it here. I'll just what I'll do is just go to I'll just go to the PC. Now just bear with me. Let's go to here. Yes. Now if I move our website across, there we go. Now here is this was actually pictures I think taken out of Norway, I think somewhere like that, but this is what you actually see in the sky, and there is just this series of satellites that whiz across the sky. If we scroll down, there is actually there's a video here. Oh, there we go. Now let's just push the button. And this is a video. This is the video that image was taken from, plus the. Here we go. After the. No, that was French. So there you go. Oh, here we go. And this is what you see going across the sky. So you really can't miss it. There is this series of 43 satellites that head across the sky. This is as they are released en masse, and then they are. My understanding is they're then deployed into low Earth orbiting, low Earth orbits. So, but anyway, just a little intrigue that's happening tonight. So, so let's the website I'll just point out is james.darpinian.com and /satellites, and he's actually a developer for Google who came up with the little application that he uses here. So not a bad little application to find if you can see the satellites as they're going past. So there you go. So that's the Starlink project, and we'll hopefully get a bit of a view of it tonight. Now the other thing is that I've been playing around with. I have. If you know me, you know I've got chooks, as a lot of places in Tasmania have in their backyard, and I've been a bit concerned about the food disappearing a little bit faster than what it normally does, and so I noticed that there was King's Adventure store was advertising little trail cameras. Now these are little waterproof boxes. You can see they've got a whole lot of infrared LEDs. They've got the camera in the middle, and they've got an infrared motion detector in them. They come in it's a waterproof box. You can lock it if you want to through here, and it comes with a strap, so you can strap it onto a tree or a pole or whatever. Now this enables you. It runs on 8 AA cell batteries. They last. It claims they last about 6 months, and it can take video or photographs. And there's a whole lot of little. There's a little screen in the back of here. You can see there I am in the little screen, but you can bring up the setup. There's a little menu that it comes up with, and you can set a whole lot of things like photo and video resolution, and the series you want, the video length, if it triggers, how long it takes a video for. Can I just say the video resolution, the video and photo resolution, the video resolution goes to HD, so, which I couldn't believe. The interval, the sensitivity, date and time stamps, etc., etc. So you can set all this up, and then basically I have it on a tripod, and I was looking at the entrance to the chook house, and whenever it detected movement, it was taking. I set it up just for photos for me, and I was very surprised to find what it captured. Now, here are some of the photos of what it actually captured. Now, yes, that's a rat. Now, I sort of knew that I had a bit of a rat problem. I've got rat sack around the place that the chooks can't get at. But so this sort of proved that that there were certainly rats there. Oh, hang on, that was me. Sorry. Let's move backwards. You'll notice that it also captures the temperature, the time, and the date. That these things actually happen. You'll notice that's a cat. That's a cat's head poking into the into the chook house. So there is a wandering cat that wanders around. There's another rat. So there's a bit of activity going on. Here we go. There's a whole lot of sparrows. Now that's probably where a lot of my food in the chook house goes. I put this outside now. Here's another one. It's internal. There's another rat, probably the same rat, but anyway. Wasn't too happy with that. It was 16 degrees and it was 3:31 in the morning. Here we go. Here's a rabbit. Now I know we got rabbits in the backyard, but the rabbit hops in, grabs some food, has a drink. There's a sparrow sitting there on the water container. Here we go. Here's the rabbit actually inside, having a bit of a feed on the seed that is hanging about in the. And here's another rat. So I have put a few more enclosed traps around the place for the rat to feast on, and I haven't seen a rat for a little while. Here we go, another rabbit. I think that's a different rabbit because it's a slightly bigger rabbit. So have to work out how the rabbits are getting into the backyard and where they are and how and why. Now I got plenty of these. I've filtered most of these out, but here's a photo bombing chook. Probably wondering what the hell the thing is. Here we go. That's a pigeon. So there's a pigeon. There are pigeons getting in, having a feed and having a drink, and then flying back out. Oh, here we go. Here's another rabbit. So I think you get the message. I now know. I now know why and how I am. Here's a chook. Action shot of a chook getting in and out. So anyway, that's you get the message, and you get the idea. These little trail cameras, they were actually on special for, I think they were $89, and you could buy two of them for $150. So not a bad deal. And it takes video and it also takes audio. Actually, if you take video, it's got a microphone in it, so you can, if there is some noise or whatever, you can take video of it. For X amount of time, anyway, a little trail camera. So very handy little surveillance devices, I suppose you'd say. So there you go. Now, resource tip shop find. Now, just let me go and grab it off the chair. I was up at the resource tip shop, and there is a. I went outside and there was some very nice, very large high current transformers, and they had the engineering department of UTAS labels on them. So I was a little bit interested in these transformers, but sitting next to them was a little box. There were three of these, little box called a isolated VI or voltage and current interface. And what you can see is you've got a red, blue, yellow phase, so this is three-phase equipment. You've got your line in, your load, and you've got a current across here, obviously, and then a voltage across here. You've got a tie point, which after investigating, I didn't know what a tie point was, but it's actually not connected inside, and a ground. And then on the back, there is an IEC connector for a bit of power over here, and a fuse. And then there are some RCAs which give you your voltage out for each phase, and then your current out for each phase. So what this basically does is enables you to connect up a three-phase load and monitor that load, and actually put oscilloscopes and bits and pieces across here, so you can see the different relationships of phases for the voltage and the current, and you can do it in a safe way. So this is totally isolated. Now the inside, I think you can see here, the inside, there's a whole lot of transformers in here for each of the phases. They drop down to plus and minus 9 volts. There's a whole lot of op amps and bits and pieces, and then underneath this you can see there is a transformer, a current transformer, and the loop that goes, there's a loop of wire which goes through that current transformer, and then the current transformer goes down to some op amps, so you can monitor the current going through that piece of wire. And then there is a similar arrangement that drops down the voltage down to acceptable levels, and then they get the voltage is converted to other levels, which then comes out on these RCA plugs. So very nice. I actually bought it. It was all of $25, which I was happy to pay because I was actually looking for a box of this size. It's an intermediate box size. Very nice case. Very nice case, and there is a whole lot of stuff in here that you can use. Lots of power supply bits and pieces. All the ICs in here are all in sockets, so it's made to be serviceable. These are nice high current binding posts, because I really don't think. And you already have an IEC and a fuse on the back panel, So it's there are lots of things we can reuse out of this. Very nicely made, incredibly nicely made. Engineering department, electrical engineering department of the university, and managed to get hold of it for. And the case is actually going to become the case for an antenna tuning, a high wattage antenna tuning unit that has a roller inductor and a few other things in it. So. That's the size case I was looking for, and for $25 I think I got an absolute deal. So so anyway, that was the latest Resource Tip Shop find. Now our 1296 rigs, we showed the preamp last week. They're coming together. I think Murray's up in Launceston today, so he's obviously not working on his 1296 power amplifier. That'll be next week, but we'll have regular updates on that. And also by next week, I'm hoping to actually have. There is a very nice little Trimble Thunderbolt GPS disciplined oscillator status LCD. That is wending its way from China. That I'm going to use on one of my Trimble Thunderbolts to replace the HP that I have. The power supplies in the HP have given up the ghost, which is a bit unfortunate because very nice GPSDO unit. But I'm changing that over to a Trimble Thunderbolt, and these little LCD displays I'm hoping will be here next week, so I can show you what that actually looks like. We'll just finish off with a couple of promos. The Meet the Voice barbecue, the Meet the Voice event, which includes a barbecue, is being held on the 22nd of March, which is not that long ago, not that far away. It's being held at the Ross Recreation Centre, which is, if you go into Ross, if you're coming from Hobart, you turn right. If you're coming from Launceston, you turn left, and go to the oval, and then it's on the edge of the oval, and it's kicks off at about 11 o'clock, I think, from memory. There will be some presentations, of course, of the Sewing Circle trophy. To the most loquacious amateur on the Sewing Circle net. That'll be handed on from Cedric, I think. Cedric got it last year, I think. I might be wrong there, but anyway. And then there are a couple of other raffles and a few speeches that go on. And then we have a bit of a barbecue. A lot of people go up a day or two before and stay at the Ross Caravan Park, which is right next to, very picturesque, next to the very historic bridge and the Macquarie River. And they make a bit of a weekend of it, which is fantastic. And the good thing about this weekend is it is also the John Moyle Memorial Field Day weekend. So if you want to operate portable, then that's the weekend you do it on, and then you can put in your log for the John Moyle Memorial Field Day. And also, the 8th to the 10th of May is the WIA 2020 annual conference, which is being held in Hobart. This WIA website is all up and going. You can book. In fact, the bookings have been really strong in the last couple of weeks. We're about half full, so which is good. We've got 2 months to go. So get in quick because it's going to fill up fairly quickly. Just a reminder, if you are staying in Tasmania and you need accommodation, Best Western Hotel, which is the venue where it's being most of the activities are being held, has a deal going with a $149 room. All you need to do is tell them that it's for the WIA conference, and you'll get it for $149 for a twin share room. Also, the Spirit of Tasmania, if you're coming from the mainland, the Spirit of Tasmania, we have discounts on fare and accommodation 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after the event. So you can come down, bring a car and caravan or motorhome, come into Tasmania, do a bit of touring before and or after the event, and then back on the Spirit. And we've actually got permission to operate 6, 2 and 70 centimetre handheld on the Spirit of Tasmania. So you can operate maritime mobile. So that's a bit of an incentive to bring a radio along with you as well. And of course, if you're touring, you do have a large number of national parks and recreation parks that you can operate worldwide flora and fauna in, as well as a whole bucket load, nearly 800 summits, as in summits on the air, that you can activate as well. So there you go. So our videos for tonight. We've got a few fun videos tonight, and some serious ones as well. The very first one is, if people are Monty Python fans and you've watched the Quest for the Holy Grail, there is a wonderful scene in there about Camelot and the Knights of the Round Table getting to Camelot and singing a little Camelot song. This is all done with Lego, so this is quite funny and quite well done. The next video is a very impressive antenna farm, and an amateur antenna farm, although I wouldn't call it an amateur, I'd call it probably more of a professional antenna farm. Bit of a film on the virtual reality filmmaking sets that were used for The Mandalorian. Now, The Mandalorian is the latest iteration from Star Wars, Lucasfilms and Disney, and they use a very interesting technique, a 360-degree VR studio that enables them to create anything. And it's a fascinating, different way of filmmaking which they used for The Mandalorian. Absolutely fascinating little film about it, only about 20 minutes long, but it shows you the sort of capabilities of VR filmmaking, virtual reality filmmaking, which is just phenomenal. A couple of videos on the G90 Xiegu HF transceiver, and also the Q900. Now, the Q900 has supposedly the same specifications as the IC705 and also the FT817. So, and the Q900, unfortunately this particular video is all in Chinese, but they are going through the functions on that particular transceiver, and it is certainly capable of everything that I suspect the IC705 can do. It has spectrum displays, etc., etc., and it's almost smaller than the 705, so worth a bit of a look. And then we finish off with a couple of fun videos from Colin Firth, which is the jet cart, the most mental ever cart ever, and the ultimate doorbell. Now, Colin Firth is a bit of a legend in his own lunchbox. He's a plumber by trade, I understand, but he builds absolutely outrageous things, and this is a couple of videos around that. So anyway, that's our show for tonight, our DATV Experimenters Night, and this is the VK7OTC, the club station of the Radio and Electronics Association of Southern Tasmania, and we'll catch you next time with another DATV night, and we'll get underway with our videos. 73, everyone. Bugger.